In Singapore, a chicken nugget costs less to make in a lab than to raise on a farm. And no bird was harmed. Yeah, you heard it right. A country the size of a small city just leapfrogged the entire world in food tech. Welcome back to Beyond Headlines, where we break down current global events for and from the Tate perspective. I'm your host Parth Gupta, and today we're talking about lab-grown meat. While the US is still arguing over whether lab-grown meat should even be legal, Singapore is already putting it in restaurants and supermarkets. So what's actually going on here? Is this the future of food, or a high-tech science project that's about to mess with nature and politics? Let's start with the basics. Lab-grown, or cultivated meat, isn't fake. It's real animal tissue, just grown differently. Scientists take a small sample of cells, say from a chicken thigh, feed it nutrients, and grow it inside a bioreactor that mimics an animal's body. After a few weeks, those cells multiply into muscle and fat that can be shaped into nuggets, fillets, or even ground meat. So yeah, it's real meat, no feathers, no barns, no slaughterhouses. Singapore's Food Authority has approved more than 50 cultivated meat products: chicken from Good Meat, quail from a company called Vow, and even lab-grown pork fat. You can literally buy them next to regular chicken at the butcher. Here's where it gets wild. It's now cheaper than regular chicken in Singapore. 10 years ago, one lab-grown burger cost over $300,000 to make. Today, it's around $13 a kilo, and hybrid versions that mix plant protein and cultivated cells are already hitting price parity. That's because the most expensive part, the growth media, basically the food for these cells, dropped from hundreds of thousands of dollars per liter to around 50 cents. Think of it as going from Gucci science experiments to Costco-level bulk production. And Singapore's strategy makes sense. The country imports about 90% of its food, so building local production in the lab isn't just trendy, it's food security. Their government fast-tracked safety approvals, handed out research grants, and built entire facilities dedicated to cultivated protein. One plant alone can produce over 4,000 tons of chicken per year. Meanwhile, in the United States, things look very different. A few companies, like Upside Foods and Good Meat, got federal approval, but several states, Florida, Alabama, Mississippi, South Dakota, have actually banned the sale of cultivated meat altogether. Lawmakers there call it Frankenmeat, claiming it threatens farmers and traditional agriculture. So now you've got the split. Some Americans say it's the future of food, others say it's a threat to their way of life. And honestly, both sides have a point. This isn't just a science issue, it's politics, economics, and culture all colliding together on one dinner plate. Other countries are jumping in too. Israel approved lab-grown beef last year. Australia is selling cultivated quail. The EU is still testing it. But Singapore is the only place where you can walk into a restaurant, order it, and eat it without signing a single waiver. So what's the real impact? Environmentally, cultivated meat uses up to 90% less land and water, and produces half, sometimes even a tenth, of the greenhouse gas emissions of regular meat. It also avoids antibiotics and animal suffering entirely. You can even engineer the nutrition: more omega-3s, less saturated fat, whatever you want. The catch? Energy. These bioreactors run non-stop at body temperature, which takes serious power, like data center levels of power. And then there's that ick factor. Some people just don't want to eat anything grown in the lab, no matter how safe or sustainable it is. Economically, it's a big shakeup. Traditional farmers could lose jobs, but new ones appear in biotech and manufacturing. Think less cowboy, more lab coat. Singapore projects more than 1,000 jobs in food tech by 2030. From a teen perspective, it's hard not to be fascinated. We've grown up with climate anxiety, constant talk about emissions, and pressure to eat less meat. Cultivated meat looks like a real fix, at least on paper. It lets you keep your nuggets but still feel okay about the planet. But it's also a reminder that science can move faster than society. Just because we can grow meat in a tank doesn't mean everybody's ready to accept it. And politicians are already using it as a cultural wedge, under the symbol of real versus artificial, local versus global, tradition versus progress. By 2030, costs are expected to drop below $5 a kilo. Optimists say cultivated meat could make up a third of all global meat by then. Pessimists think it'll stall out at 10% because of regulation, bans, and plain old resistance. But one thing's for sure, Singapore just proved the tech works. The rest of the world now has to decide whether to follow it or fight it. So So the real question isn't if lab-grown meat will reach your plate. It's whether your government or your gut will let it. So would you try lab-grown meat? Or does it feel like we're crossing a line nature never meant us to? Let me know in the comment section. Thank you for tuning in to Beyond Headlines. I'm Parth, and I'll catch you next time. Stay curious, stay sharp, and always think beyond headlines.